If she wins, it doesn't mean that you lose. But if you are operating from that scarcity and lack mindset, that's exactly what it's telling you. She gets it, so I don't get to have it. You're listening to Speak Mother, a podcast about reclaiming your voice, your identity, and your truth inside modern motherhood. I'm your host, Shannon Warner. Let's get into it. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so glad you're here. Today, we will continue our conversation surrounding the book On Our Best Behavior, The 7 Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good by Elise Loehnen. As I've said before, you do not have to be reading this book to be part of this conversation. Elise does a great job of going really in depth on these concepts, and we're kind of just glazing the surface. So if you want to stay surface level, cool. If you want to go deeper, the link to that book is available in the show notes. And know that there are several listeners reading along with you at this time. To those of you who have reached out and let me know that this is really resonating with you, and these are people from different beliefs and walks of life and backgrounds and political affiliations. So I think it's really fascinating how this can shine a light on all of our experiences as women inside of a patriarchal system. So without further ado, let's talk about envy. I'm really excited about this chapter because, we know what we're talking about, right? We understand how these are tools that are being used against us as women inside the patriarchy. But I love the concept of envy because I feel like it's more accessible. When we were unpacking rest last week, that lives really deep in our nervous system. It's so important and it's primal, but the way that we coexist with rest feels really, really deeply wired. And again, rest is literally essential to our survival. So it just feels heavier. It feels more deeply ingrained. Envy, on the other hand, I feel like is something we can really work with quickly. We can start to turn that dial immediately if we allow ourselves to. So envy is usually a thought first. It's a reaction, a tightening around an observation, an eye roll, a comment that maybe you don't say out loud, but you definitely think. And that's why I think envy is an easier place to start this work. Not easy, but it's clearer. Envy shows us where we're not yet free. Those triggers show us where we are not yet free. Those moments when you catch yourself thinking, ugh, that bitch, or who the hell does she think she is? Those are not judgments anymore. It doesn't feel like a moral failure on my part. I don't like when I feel that way, but I now can view it as information. Because when I go unconscious and I have those thoughts, when I'm not being very mindful about the way I'm moving through my world, which takes a rested body and a regulated nervous system, okay? So don't shame yourself for dropping right back into your conditioning. It's okay. But when those do surface for me, I pause. It's something to sit with. Because that doesn't show up randomly. It shows up when something in us has been stirred up. So Elise in the book shows that there is a distinction between envy and jealousy. We use those words interchangeably, but they're not actually the same thing. Elise says that jealousy usually involves a third party. There's a fear there, a sense of threat, something that you might lose. Envy is simpler and more uncomfortable, honestly. It's more of a one-to-one intimate thing, you and her. And why am I saying her? Because envy almost always shows up woman against woman. She has something. She's doing something. She's being something. She's achieved something. And part of you wants that. Some part of you, even if it's deep down and unacknowledged, wants that. And because envy is so shamed, we rarely sit with it honestly. So what do we do instead? What does it look like? We disguise it. We make it a passive-aggressive comment, a critique of her tone, her choices, her personality. We tell ourselves that we're just being discerning. But most of the time, that irritation is covering something so much more vulnerable. Desire, want. And this is where envy gets really interesting to me. It's because those reactions, that irritation, that judgment, the urge to dismiss, they often point directly to desires that we have not fully allowed ourselves to name yet. It's not that the desire isn't there. It definitely is. We've just gotten very skilled at talking ourselves out of it. We explain why it's unrealistic, or it's selfish, or it's for someone else, someone not like you. So instead of asking ourselves, why does she annoy me so much? What if we asked, what does she allow herself that I don't? So changing the way that I interact with that annoyance of another woman, it's changed me. Elise points out that envy tests our tolerance for watching other people get what they want. And when we don't have the capacity to sit with that discomfort, we look outward instead of inward. It's easier to fixate on what she's doing wrong than to sit with what we might want to do differently. Elise points out that women tend to reserve their envy for other women, especially women who are similar to them. And that similarity sharpens the mirror. It's all a reflection. And this is where so much women on women harm shows up. Stay in your lane. Don't get too big. Don't make the rest of us uncomfortable. So it feels like jealousy or envy, but a lot of the time it comes with the obedience of staying within the confines of what the patriarchy says it's okay for women to do, for the ways it's okay for women to behave. We were taught to be likable, to be agreeable, to be chosen and not self-directed. Let your work speak for itself. Don't speak for your work. So when a woman acts big or bold or unapologetic, it disrupts something in the system and it disrupts something in us. And that disruption tends to get punished. You can see this all the time on social media. Women building businesses or sharing ideas or putting themselves out there, their own friends won't hit like, but they'll watch every single move. People will challenge her in the comment section. And when people can't poke holes in what she's saying, what do they go after? How she looks. We've all seen it. That's not random. That, my friends, is conditioning. And I want to point something out that maybe you've not yet realized. If she wins, it doesn't mean that you lose. But if you are operating from that scarcity and lack mindset, that's exactly what it's telling you. She gets it, so I don't get to have it. This gets even more layered in motherhood. Wanting more than caregiving can feel disloyal, especially when you look at the women who came before us. Our mothers and grandmothers and their mothers had fewer choices. Sometimes they had no choices at all. So there's a kind of survivor's guilt that we don't talk about. This feeling that wanting more somehow rejects their sacrifice, that if we reach for something different, we're saying that what they did wasn't enough, and we know that's not true. But we're in new territory now, just like our mothers were compared to their own. And there's no way to do this perfectly. Hopefully, one day we can watch our children do this better than we did, but we don't have to self-abandon in the meantime. If anything, it means that our wants matter more than ever. Let your children see you want and go after what you desire. That shows them that it's allowed and it's safe to do so, especially moms of girls. They need to see us going after the thing that sets our hearts on fire. In addition to modeling for our children what we want and going after what we want, we have to pay close attention to how we talk about other women in their presence. As I've mentioned, I've got 2 little girls, and I am incredibly mindful of what I say about other women in front of them. If someone has something we don't, I try to say things like, wow, I love that for them. That is so exciting. I'm sure they're so thrilled to have that thing that they've wanted, the thing that they've desired, the thing that they've worked for. Even if it's not something I would choose for myself, that stuff is taught quietly over years. And if you've got littles between 0 and 7, they're little sponges. They're sucking it all in, everything we're saying and the things that we're not saying. And if you're a mother of boys, if they hear you tearing other women down, they learn it's acceptable. Oof. There's a lot of unlearning to do. And it's not about being perfect. It's just about waking up, noticing, reflecting. Inside this chapter, it's shared that shame is a tool of the oppressor. When we shame other women for dreaming big or acting boldly or wanting more, we enforce the same system that limits us. Releasing this envy isn't just personal healing. It changes how we raise our kids, how we talk about our friends. It gives us permission to want. And wanting, my dear friends, is very powerful. You might be listening to this and realizing that there's something that you want that you've never really said out loud. Maybe it feels half-formed or selfish, or maybe you don't even know what it is yet. You just know that something in you is waking up. And I want you to know that I am a safe place for those conversations. If you've been around here for any length of time prior to this reboot of the podcast, you've heard me say, I love to cheerlead. I want to cheer you on. I want to know about your dreams. I want to know about your desires. I want to know. If you don't have a safe place to share those dreams, I'm your girl. Whether you know me personally or not, my promise to you is this. I will hold your desires with care. I won't judge you, and I won't tell you what you should want. So if it feels supportive, you're welcome to book a coffee chat with me. It's just a Zoom conversation, totally casual, no agenda, no pressure, literally 0 strings attached. I know some of you don't have safe spaces to share the thing that sets your heart on fire. I've had some of these in the past. Some people stay in touch and some people don't. Both are completely okay. The link for that is in the show notes if you want to drop in. And that invitation is always open. So if you're listening to this 2 years from now and the link doesn't work, find me, reach out. I mean it. Championing other women is literally one of my favorite things to do. All right, before we wrap, I just want to leave you with a few questions. Again, you don't have to answer, just notice. Where is envy showing up most strongly for you? What desire might be underneath it? How do you talk about other women when they're not in the room? Both with your friends, with your partners, and in front of your children. You don't have to do anything with this. Awareness is enough. We all have to start somewhere. I love you so much. Take care of yourself, and I'm rooting for you always. Thanks for listening to Speak Mother. If this resonated, share it with a friend, and don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Keep speaking your truth. I'll meet you back here soon.